Man. He was the leader of one of the very early organized gang groups in the islands of Papua New Guinea. And the interesting thing about him is that one time when I was waking up, the group of boys from this area, it's actually from the Day Council area of the Western Highlands province. Day Council, those of you know, welcome, my brother, Leslie, sorry. Well, yeah, anyway, we will introduce Leslie later, but let me finish this story first. Yeah, so what happened was, Day Council area, they had these huge coffee plantations. It was well established in terms of money and economy and shopping centers and things like that. But a whole business just literally shut down because of this man here, because of his gang. Yeah, a whole coffee plantation actually literally shut down. Schools closed, hospitals and clinics there in that part of the region closed. And it was a no-go area because of the gang that this man was heading. And it's a long story, but to cut the short story short, what happened was he was arrested. This man here was arrested. He was put into Baisu jail. And he has a Lutheran upbringing. His father was a Lutheran, and I do not know the details of whether he went seriously to Lutheran church or no. I have no idea. All I knew was that he was a Lutheran background, but he was heavily involved in this killing and destroying and stealing and that kind of thing, until he was arrested. When he was arrested, he was put in jail in Baisu, and when he was in Baisu, they had been running, and he was a wanted criminal. They didn't want to let him go. They wanted to make sure that court proceedings were, done well, and he had to, they wanted him to be jailed for however long the judge would give him. But what happened was one day, he said he was sleeping and he was thinking, man, he had no chance. He's never coming back, getting out of the jail. So what he did, he was thinking of all kinds of ways, and one time he said, as he was staying, and people are asking, what church do you come from? And he said, out of the blues, he said, Seventh-day Adventist. And Day Council has no SDA church, it's only Lutheran. He said, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. Oh, because there was a SDA church service going on every Saturdays, Sabbaths, they said, okay, you can go to church on Saturday. So he went to church on Saturday. His first Sabbath he ever attended.
Actually, I said he's an Adventist because he did not want to work on Sunday.
Yeah, so maybe whatever reason. So when he went there, after attending the church, he said from there probably figured out how he was going to escape, and he never even went to the second Sabbath. The new week he broke through, escaped. He ran away, and when he ran away, he went out, rejoined with his own gang groups, and the gang activities were, going on again. Until one day he said, I'm cutting everything. Time is very short, so I'm just cutting this thing very short. He said they got together, the gangs got together, and they said, what can we do? These people don't trust us. At least the police will eventually kill us, or we'll at least kill a few more before they kill us. So is it a really good way to continue living in fear and running in fear and that kind of thing? And so they said, well, what can you do? They can believe us. We're a criminal, This is a gang group. Who on earth will, have confidence and trust in a gang group? They said, well, someone suggested, I think, said, well, if we say that, we are Christians, they may, or go to church, they may change their mind. Well, look, Lutherans, who believes Lutherans in this area, they're Lutherans. So they can go down to the local Lutheran church in their country. If they went, obviously everyone will be, reporting the police, and they will either shoot them or get arrested. So they said, well, in fact, this was the guy who got up and said, what we'll become? We'll build a Seventh-day Adventist church here. And they had no idea about SDA church. Only he attended the church only once in prison. Not because he was interested in the church, for his own selfish reasons he attended the church. And so he said, look, we'll be an SDH. So they built this SDA church right in the middle of the jungle. And so they said they went to church. What they did in the church, I don't know. But they said they went to church every Saturday. Who was leading them, preaching to them? We have no idea. I think maybe someone might want to go and ask questions of what kind of sermons they preached. But anyway, what happened was, as news eventually got around in that area, that, oh, there's this SDA church built by the criminals. And his name is Abel Ter. You know, Abel Ter and his team has built this church, and they were worshiping. So it was like a joke in the community. SDA church. So SDA church was sort of associated with a criminal gang, and so it was something that everybody was making fun of. So one day, news got around, and the Lutheran high school, Kotnak High School, is not far from where they had to build a church in the Lutheran station. So it so happened that some SDA young kids got selected to attend this Lutheran school to do grade 7 and 8 and do the high school. The primary schools from other parts of Western Highlands got selected instead of going to Kabifo or Paglu. Yeah, boarding school. So because it's a boarding school and it's cheaper, so they got selected to go to this Kotna Lutheran High School. So when the students went, then they went and asked the principal if they could go to church on Saturday. There's no SDA church in that area, one, and secondly, the Lutheran principal says, this is a Lutheran high school. You have to be a Lutheran when you are here. So that means they have to work, compulsory work program, manual labor, every Saturdays, and so Sundays everyone going to church. So they had a hard time. And then they had this news that this SDA church was being built, and there's a whole group of people who were criminals. So they added while they were in the local market, So the students decided to go to the church. So early in the morning, they took off, walked up the bush track, and they eventually go to Abel Ter's church. And when Abel Ter and his gang groups sitting and trying to worship whatever form of worship they were trying to worship, and they saw the students coming. And can you imagine that this area, no ordinary human beings could enter because of these criminals living, and here are these young high school students, having the courage to enter this area, and even the criminals themselves were surprised that they could come into the jungle. And so Abel Ter and his team told the students, look, what do you know how to conduct Seventh-day Adventist worship programs? They said, yeah, we know, we're SDAs, we can do it for you, and because before they're going, what they were doing was they did 3 things. Abel Ter was telling them SDAs have 3 things they do. One, they do something on a floor like this, and they run some meetings, and then they go, second time they go to a stage like this, talking about a divine service, they go to a little bit further higher up. And then when they finish that in the afternoon, they come for some kind of meeting again. So it's a 3 thing they do, SDAs do up there. So that's what they were doing. One in the morning, one bit lower, and then a bit further higher up, thing, and then in the afternoon, they were doing something, And so when the students went, the high school students, when they turned up, they said, oh, good, you can run everything for us. The bottom one, and the middle one, and then the further higher up. So the students had a good time. From morning till afternoon, they literally have Sabbath school, divine service, the students ran the program, and in the afternoon, AY, and when the sun set, they walked back. The criminals actually literally walked them down to school, and they went back to school. And what happened was when they went to church, they missed their Saturday walk program. The students missed the Saturday walk program. And so the principal had that the SDAs ran away from their morning duties, and so the principal called them into the office the next school day. I think it was on Monday, and told them, okay, on Saturday you guys will be punished an extra probably 3 or more hours you'll be working because you missed last time. But before that, Abel And these gang members, they told him, look, are you coming again next week? He said, yes, we will come next week. Okay, next week you come again and run the whole program again for us. So this time, the second Sabbath, Abel and his team, they, sort of look decent. Previously, they were not decent looking, criminals looking, but this time they got a decent wash, put some good clothes, and, they went to church. They felt this time they're going to church because there was a group coming to run the program for them. So when the gang members turned up at the church, no one came. They were waiting and, waiting, and it's 9 o'clock, and then 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock, and 12 o'clock, and wow, there was no one coming in. This man here is a man of very few words. He's smiling there, but he's a man of very few words. When he's very angry, you don't want to be in front of him. He's very, very sort of emotionally unstable. Unstable man. So, and Abel was thinking, man, what's happening? They should come by now. So because they were not coming, Abel and a few other the gang groups, they decided to follow the bush track. And they started walking down towards the school, and just in case they were probably something may happen. So when he walked down, someone told him that, look, he was saying, look, we're looking for these, students, and they're not here. Have you seen them? I said, oh no, actually what happened was last weekend, they ran away from the work program, and they went to church. So the principal actually got them on punishment, and they are actually working down there. They can't come. So when he had it, Abel was literally furious and angry. And so the intensity of his anger was so high that he literally went back. He had his underground or under tunnel cave where he has all his guns and bullets and things like that. He loaded them up with live ammunition. He walked down the road and started blowing every trees and bananas, coffee trees, anything. He just blew them off. And when they had, the guns, everybody fled for their life. And he quickly came down to the school, get the security gate, and he went right inside. Everyone fled for their lives. And he was saying, where's the principal, Where is the principal? He's up there, pointing to his office. And so, Abel he told me, he went inside, there was a pile of books in front, he kicked the pile of books right into his face and then put the gun right into his forehead. And he said, you know what? These hands have seen human blood, and you will be one of them. Yeah. And the man when he found out that this was Abel, the most wanted criminal, he's dying. He knew he was going to die. And when he said, I am a criminal, I've been killing many people, he will be one of them, one of the bloods that I've shed. And at this point in time, the principal probably wasn't too sure why he's doing that like that. And the next thing he said was, Abel said, look, if you want to send me to hell, I'll send you first, and then I'll follow you later. And then he told him, look, the church out in the jungle, high building, is it? You want to send me to hell? I'll send you too. Okay, now I think the principal started learning. And I built it, and I asked the students to come and worship with me. Why did you stop them? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, what do you want? I'll tell them. Anyway, I'll cut it. It's a long story. We'll just end it here. But that is how the Seventh-day Adventist Church ended the day council.